All right, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, June 15th, and yesterday was a pretty interesting day with FOMC happening and cratering the market and then immediately rebounding and then closing green. Got a little bit of a hangover this morning with markets down 30 basis points or SPY down 30 basis points. So, probably a little bit of a hangover from that, but also some company specific news. So that being said, let's bring a couple people up here, get some plays in, have a great day. Big shout out first though to Rylar, Hardy, and a few others who were hosting talks all day. You didn't get pinged for them, but if you want to get notified for them, just type /notifications in chat and select Discord events, market events, or podcasts, whichever one we end up deciding to pick. I'm not sure which one we're going to end up using. I think probably podcasts. And then anyone running a talk can just ping that and you'll get notified. That way we don't, blast everyone every single time. But now that that's all out of the way, let's get some plays going. Hopefully none of you are still holding on to GameStop. Yesterday was a little bit of a down day, and it's looking the same way this morning. Guys, welcome.
Morning.
Oh, I was just saying hello and welcome. Good morning, yeah.
Yeah, the voice chat's working for the people asking. It might be on your end.
I'm not sure if we can answer them by voice chat if they ask if voice chat is working.
I just realized. I need some more coffee.
Fair.
So Genome, I mean, this is not stocks, obviously, but do you know why Bitcoin took a dump yesterday?
Based on SPY took a dump. The markets took a dump yesterday.
So it's just correlation.
A hawkish pause in the interest rates. A hawkish pause. So it was the same reason that the S&P and the Dow and everything went down. The only thing that went up was Nasdaq because of the tech stocks. But yeah, it was in sympathy with everything else due to the Fed's announcement.
Yeah, makes sense.
And historically, I think I can't remember if it was OK Helicopter or Titty that brought it up that historically, after the Fed pauses rate hikes, the markets tend to go down in general for like a few months afterwards, and it's not a good look for the markets for the pause to have happened. And the other part of it is that the reason for the pause was that the Fed seems a little bit clueless. So they don't know which is really scary, right? Mm-hmm. He was talking about risks that are emerging in commercial real estate, and the Fed not having sufficient data to make a better decision. So they kind of paused it and punted the ball to next month to see what happens. So it doesn't instill the markets with confidence when you have a Fed that comes out with a hawkish pause and concerns about banks that are in commercial real estate. So that's just.
Well, I think he preferred to use the word skip, if that makes it any better.
He can use whatever word he wants, but he's
right.
Yeah, they seem a little bit befuddled. The Fed seems a little bit befuddled about what to do, and then. The other thing that came up on the call was that one of the reporters asked him the question about the fiscal policy not aligning with monetary policy, and he's like, "It's not my problem. The idiots in Congress are going to do what the idiots in Congress are going to do until the idiots in Congress wake up. That's not going to change, and I'm not going to do anything about it. And we know what the idiots in Congress are doing, so it's not a good look for markets and for the economy right now."
So it appeared that he made the decision to skip based on, I think he used the language like he sees signs of loosening in the I think it was in the supply chain and other things. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, some things are like some of the prices are coming down for sure. That's reflected in the CPI numbers, and that's true. But there's it's still not hitting the unemployment is not where they want it to be, and inflation is not where they want it to be. So
That's where I got
and the
confused. Because like the unemployment numbers seem to be driving his decisions previously, and now all of a sudden it's not in focus.
Correct. And I think what the Fed still doesn't get is that unemployment historically has to be at a high enough level so that you don't have inflationary pressure on wages and stuff like that. But given what's going on right now, if the only way that you can really bring inflation down is by increasing productivity. And to increase productivity, you have to have workers, and you have to hire workers and then put them to work and then give them jobs. The one thing more than anything that's going to bring down inflation is to have the shelves full of products, to have the auto dealerships full of products, so that you have competition in the markets with supply being brought up to the point where you have enough competition in the markets to bring the prices down, right? And the supply chain issues have been mostly resolved, so that should happen. And in a situation like that, I think they're finally starting to realize that you can have high employment or low unemployment and still bring inflation down if productivity increases. And I honestly think that's what needs to happen more than interest rate increases in order to resolve the inflation issue.
That's a good point, but you think it's still going to roil the markets in the meantime?
Well, like I said, the person that brought it up yesterday, they said up to 6 months after a Fed pause, there's going to be, mostly downward pressure in the markets. So I'm going to, if historical performance is true, then that's what I'm expecting.
So this ties, and good morning, everybody. This ties to a question that I actually had earlier this morning when I read that the European Central Bank actually raised interest by, I think it was 0.25% or 25 points. I'm just wondering if that historically has had any impact on market prices over here in our exchange. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone has some official knowledge on that.
I'm not quite sure how that tracks with the European interest rate increases. I know Canada just recently increased their rates as well. Somebody mentioned it to me that Canada just increased their rates as well.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Good morning.
We can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, so back to the Canada and Australia, both have paused hiking their rates, and they have recently increased the interest rates, like just 2 weeks earlier and a week earlier, if in case of Australia. So for Powell, just to see what's going to happen in the future. And maybe he's expecting the inflation to go above a bit. So that might be the reason, you want to do this in a hawkish way of pausing the rates. So
Does that help answer your question?
also, there has been talks in the European markets saying they might expect a 25 BPS in the next meeting. So
So is anybody playing Adobe earnings today? And if so, calls or puts?
I have one put on Adobe for this
My
evening's
investment
earnings
portfolio
report.
right now is a little too poor to pay for calls or puts. And don't think it's going to have the kind of explosive price that it. I think so. We can like pick up a call $40 or $50 out of the money and expect to make a gain on it. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there any opportunity for calls or puts in the hundreds of dollars range, not thousands?
I did make a few grand when I sold my calls early after before it was Tuesday, and I was planning on holding through earnings just to see what happened, but I wanted to lock in some gains. But still thinking about maybe like Genome. So, what strike did you have for your put?
You know what? I'm not in front of my computer right now. Give me a few minutes, and I can
Oh, no
chime
worries.
back. I can let you know. I'm feeding the dogs right now, so I got to take care of that, and I'll be right back.
No problem.
Mhm.
Driving his sailboat to work. Yep. Blackfire, are you skydiving right now? Sounded like
Oh,
you had
sorry. I'll mute myself. I'm on.
No. It was when you were talking before.
Oh yeah. The Tesla fucking hands-free thing sort of bugged out on me. So put some Tesla.
So, is anyone planning to play UPST puts for the next month?
What's your
I'm
thesis
sure,
on
like,
that one?
well, the business model honestly sucks. The reason they rallied was they sold off around 2 billion assets to this third-party company which handles their loans, and I'm guessing the rally was mainly due to the market pumping to 430s. I mean, the SPY, in 430s. So I'm just wondering, there might be at least like a $5 to $7 pullback on the stock. So I'm just trying to get your opinions as well. If anyone's planning to play UPST on the put side.
If anyone in the chat has any info on that, feel free to chime in. UPST, I'll type it.
Sorry. So what is UPST and what do they do?
Sorry, you got break.
So they're they're in the banking sector. They kind of write loans, and
For
they shot
startups?
up. Yeah, they do loans for all sorts of companies, but they shot up during their earnings call, saying that they're going to rake in much profits in the upcoming quarter, and they told they are going to use the AI to do the lending system and to write loans and to manage risks, which is just hypothetical at this point because they haven't really showed any numbers. And the stock rallied like 200% within like 20 days.
Wow.
So
and because of the AI thing being mentioned.
Yep. The earnings were out on last month around May 14th, if I'm not wrong. And the stock used to trade around $15 to $16, and now it's around 36.
Is this more of a meme stock, you think?
Honestly, that's my idea about the stock. So I was just wondering if anyone has like a solid DD or TA going into the puts. So I was just like trying to pitch in this idea and see if anyone has any opinions on it.
Oh no, I'm not downplaying it. We love meme stocks here. I was just seeing what consensus was.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like how AMC rallied when GME is rallying, like 2 days back. So there is something with the stock. So I'm just guessing it's going to come down in the future. But I'm just waiting for the right time of entry. So
Yeah,
Do
based
you
on
know? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're first.
Well, I was gonna ask if they handle student loans at all for those people that refinance from government student loans into a private lender.
So honestly, they were not similar to SoFi in terms of student loans, handling student loans. But I do know that they do commercial loans to all the companies, I guess, like, not large cap companies, but, a small market cap companies. You can do startups. So they are not involved with student loans as much as I know.
Okay, I asked because there's another piece of DD on student loans in SoFi that I wanted to bring to the table, but I'll take it back up when UPST discussion is done.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it rallied along with SoFi, Affirm, with all these other fintech startups, I would say. And I guess it's due for a pullback because if you compare UPST to other fintechs, this stock has rallied, 180 to 200% in the last month. So, and as you noticed yesterday when the SEP came out, the summary of economic projections, the stock dropped almost $3 within like 10 minutes time window. So I'm guessing if SPY is going to go down, this will have a major pullback. If only we are looking at SPY going down. I don't know like if that's going to happen or if this is going to be another buy the dip opportunity for all the bulls out there. So
And is there a particular point in time when you're expecting that pullback, or like a time range? You're talking days, weeks, months? Impossible to tell.
I'm guessing within the next month it's going to go down at least $5 to $6. But I just need a solid TA on that. Like, I wanted to look at any resistance and support lines if anyone needs like studying the stock. So that's the reason I'm trying to get in some opinions on it. The stock used to trade around $322 in the peak rally back in 2021. And they had very bad quarters and very bad earnings since then. And this is the last quarter is the only quarter which they have projected to rake in some profits for the upcoming quarter. That's purely a hypothetical statement. It can always change. So it used to trade around 300 or 322 in that range, and it fell all the way from there to $20 last September or October. And it used to trade around $12 in February. And before their earnings, it shot up to 26. Then it came back all the way to 12. And in May, it shot back again to 35. And now it is around 36.
That's interesting. For your request for TA, you may want to ask for that again if and when Hardy joins the chat this morning. I know he likes to do on-screen TA.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if anyone's playing that, and yeah. And also, do you guys think the market is going to go down today, or it's going to be a buy the dip opportunity?
Yeah, that I feel like it can go either way, just because people are still digesting what's going on with the Fed news. But like Genome said earlier, that there's some like data that says typically after like Fed pauses, there's a downtrend in the market. I don't know when that will start or if it will, but something to pay attention to.
But usually that happens when the Fed cuts rates, the market starts rallying, but after a period it starts to go down because they know, like, they're going to expect bad quarters and also a decrease in the GDP. But in here, like as you see yesterday, Daddy Powell just came in and said, like, he gave the pause, but he is also hawkish on expecting 2 more rate hikes depending on the data. So if we are due for a pullback, this might be the reason, but I'm just not seeing it in the market right now. So I was just trying to get some ideas on, planning some positions going into this. So
yeah, and also, I mean, bull or bear markets typically don't last more than an average of about 12 to 18 months. So I don't know if everything's already been priced in, but I personally have noticed that the market, or its SPY at least, has bottomed around October. If you look at like even though there's been some highs and lows since then, but I've been long since then, and I don't see any reason to stop.
You didn't see the 1930s chart overlay?
But the 2 million
so funny
BC chart is even better.
So the ECB just raised 25 basis points, and Lagarde said that they don't expect the prevailing inflation rate to go down to a 2 handle until 2025. So you can expect them to stay pretty high. They're obviously farther behind us in the hiking cycle. They started later. But so the bond market is going to react to that. The dollar is going to soften as a result. So these large mega cap tech stocks that have a lot of multinational exposure, you'll see a weaker dollar, which means that their profits overseas will be reduced. So
I actually brought that up earlier and was asking the chat, and maybe so our market tend to respond to ECB moves in the same way that basically probably not to the same degree, but does it respond in the same way as to when the Fed raises or lowers interest rates?
Yeah, so it's a bit different in that the ECB raising will cause the dollar to be weaker on a relative basis, and any companies which have a lot of international exposure as a result will have profits that are worth less overseas. So because our economy, like SPY, for example, is dominated by these mega cap tech stocks and large companies which have a lot of international exposure, you'll see a relative softening in the larger companies compared to like the smaller companies in the United States. For example, like say a regional bank in Ohio will not be impacted by ECB because they don't have any international exposure. Their business is focused here, or like a mid cap industrial, for example. So small and mid caps don't get affected as much as large companies do, generally speaking, by international borrowing rates. So with the ECB hiking and looking like they'll continue to hike even after the U.S. Fed pauses and or possibly even cuts. You can see like a differential there. You can see like the Russell, for example, move a bit more strongly relative to mega caps and SPY, for example, a market cap weighted index on a relative basis, all else held equal. There's a lot that has to be held equal. So there's still idiosyncratic moves in the indices, but that's kind of, if you have just one thing that came out today, which is like the ECB hiking and like the Fed's already did their thing, that's why you'll see like large cap companies going down a bit, bond yields going up.
So just real quick while it's a little silent, my Adobe put is the strike price on the Adobe put for tomorrow is for tomorrow, expiring tomorrow, is 362.50. So
you think it'll drop that low?
No, but it doesn't have to drop that low for me to make money on this put. I don't think it just has to drop a little bit. Then I should be making a little bit of money. I'm not looking to get like a 5 or 10 bagger out of this. This was just like a 10 or 20% play would be fine by me.
Yeah,
I'm right now. So what's the current stock price on it, on Adobe?
470. Let's see, it's 479.53. Pre-market it's 477.
And on Monday morning, I bought my calls when it was trading around like 460, and then the following day, it went up almost to 500, and I sold around 490.
Congrats.
Nice.
It was pure accidental luck because I bought them early to go into earnings, and I was like, oh, it's pumping already. Sure, I'll take the money.
So I don't know if anyone is still in the dumpster fire known as Mullen, but they're doing another reverse split and diluting shares. So I don't know if you're like, for people that are still in there, you might want to take a hard look at their recent announcements about what they're doing as far as diluting the shares. But they're going from like 160 million shares to close to 500 million shares. Because they're trying to raise capital, and it's going to involve like a reverse split again because they fell below $1 again. So if you're still in there, you might want to take a hard look and think about how you want to think about an exit strategy.
Honestly, I did raise a lot of money shorting Mullen. So it's always a dumpster fire, as you just mentioned. So yeah, it's a trash stock. The CEO is just like pumping numbers out of thin air.
Yeah, they're lining their pockets. The CEO's lining his pockets with shareholder money. I mean, it's just terrible.
Yep.
On a positive note, I bought some long-dated target calls expiring June 2024, $270 calls. Those are up about 39% right now. I think after Target atones for their sins, they will come back eventually. So I got some really long-dated calls on them. And then I'm still holding Rocket Lab $2 calls expiring June tomorrow. So those are in the money. I think I'm going to exercise that one and take the shares. I like Rocket Lab. I think if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to have a bright future in the space industry.
I'm right there with you on Rocket Lab. Mine are at 2.5, expiring in July something, I think 21. And I have a couple at 2.5 and at 3. Kind of regret not taking profit on the 3-point calls earlier in the week, but I expect that stock to bounce back and be over 3 by July. And it's one of those companies that I also believe in. I'm just not memeing it. So yeah,
I agree.
Bullish
I think
on Rocket Lab.
Yeah, the CEO has a passion for space, much like Elon does, and I like what they're doing. and more competition in that, or more participants in that field is a positive sign as far as I'm concerned, because it means that we're really going to have we're really going to expand out into the universe, and I think that's really cool. I also heard that I didn't read it completely, but I guess they're having a shareholder meeting coming up soon. I have to look at the tweet. I got a tweet from Rocket Lab, but I just saw the headline. I didn't look at the specifics of it, so I'm kind of interested in hearing what they have to say. And then they also, like, there's also rumors of some type of cooperation going on with Amazon, with Blue Origin and Amazon's interest in participating in the space race as well. So hopefully they mention something during the shareholder event on that and see what happens, see what it does to the stock. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a solid, they have a solid strategy, and the CEO is very passionate about space. So I like that.
Hey, Blackfire, can you just change your profile pic to Elon Musk so that just to get it out there?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually driving in my Tesla right now.
I thought you were in your. You're not in your SpaceX rocket?
Not right now. I'm driving to Twitter HQ.
Okay.
Which SpaceX did announce that their next attempt at their orbital launch of the space Starship is going to be in 6 to 8 weeks, which puts it around the end of July, mid-August time frame. So that should be an interesting event coming up for those people that are into space.
So something that I wanted to bring to the group's attention for discussion is, I guess, a possible price action movement on SoFi. And the reason why I say this is because today at 10 a.m. and tomorrow at 10 a.m. are the last two scheduled days that the Supreme Court has on releasing opinions for the term. And one of the cases that's expected to be decided is a ruling on the legality of Biden's loan forgiveness. With the current composition of the court, I think it's a little bit more likely, not significantly more likely, that they'll rule in favor of not upholding the constitutionality of that forgiveness. And if this adds any legitimacy to my opinion, I'm a lawyer, and starting lawyer. One of my jobs is paying attention to all of the new Supreme Court cases and briefing the partners on it. So I've been kind of attuned this session to the movements. Like, trying to predict when a decision is going to drop is a little bit of, like, there's a little mysticism to it, because there's no hard and set fast rule as to when they have to do it. It's just that the Supreme Court goes on vacation on mid-July, and they like to wrap up major cases by end of June. There's on the schedule. There's only 2 days where it's officially scheduled for opinion drops. There is another meeting on the 22nd where they could do it if they decide that they're too backlogged. So just to keep guys aware, there could be a decision on that as soon as today at 10 a.m., maybe tomorrow, and a little less likely end of June if they don't do it today. But I know that SoFi is potentially going to be a stock that responds to that decision. Just because I think if loan forgiveness gets canceled, that might have some impact on private lenders. So I guess the question for the group is, where do you guys expect SoFi and the private lending industry to react on a Supreme Court decision on not upholding Biden's loan forgiveness?
At the very least, I'm fairly certain this is going to be a mostly sell the news situation. Because if you look at the last couple months, it's done nothing but go straight up.
can see that. Also, I'm not sure to what extent SoFi has the because I think the student loan forgiveness, if I'm not mistaken, applies only to federally only to federal student loans, not to private
That's
student
correct.
loans. So I'm not sure what percentage of federal versus private student loans SoFi services. I think that it would depend on how involved they are with the federal student loans versus the private ones.
I get so you're definitely correct. It wouldn't apply to any SoFi held loans. The thinking is that some borrowers may say, you know what, well, if I'm not getting any sort of loan forgiveness, maybe I'll take a look at refinancing with a private lender and push some loans being moved there. Although on the other hand, don't know necessarily why you would do that, since interest rates tend to be better through the public lenders. But yeah, I just know there's been this general chatter online, WallStreetBets, and in general that SoFi's price point is somewhat indirectly tied to what's going to happen on student loan forgiveness. So that's why bringing it up for those of you that are playing SoFi, to keep that in mind, that that's probably going to happen this week, and if not, very, very latest, end of June, early July. So that's around the corner.
And then in other news, the FTC filed a suit against Microsoft to block their Activision Blizzard acquisition. I'm still holding shares of Activision that are they're about even right now. So I don't know if they're going to go down that much anymore, but I'm still holding them to see if on the outside chance that they somehow it does go through. It also could be that Microsoft is doing this on purpose because they do have a lot of friends in the government. They could be doing this on purpose because I think the deadline is in a couple of days for the original agreement, and if that expires, then it might be a situation where Microsoft can renegotiate the acquisition cost or the price for the acquisition. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of shares, but just an FYI type of thing that the FTC is trying to block the merger.
Was this a new decision, or are you going off of the one that happened a few months ago?
So I remember hearing about that a few months ago.
No, this is new. I read about this yesterday or the day before.
We got 20 minutes till the market opens. Any other interesting plays? So Kroger was also reporting earnings this morning. I don't know if anyone played that one.
To be fair, most of my day today is going to be looking at Hardy's Russell rebalancing thing.
Is that now? Did he was here, did he just exit? I guess so.
But at least I know most of that's going down tomorrow, so might as well start taking a look at it.
I was going to say something and I forgot.
Seems Swifty is a little bullish on Amazon here.
Your price target is a little out there.
Is that before or after GameStop?
Well, maybe Amazon's the true play.
We've been wrong the whole time.
Yeah. Someone's asking what we think about NVIDIA. I think our man, Human Genome, is the NVIDIA expert.
You'll say it does have a hell of a run going behind it.
Not an expert, but I mean they when you look at them, they have the chips, they've got the software, they got the services. If anyone's going to pull this AI thing off in a big way, I think it's right now. It looks like it's going to be NVIDIA.
What is their exact play into AI? Like, is it just the processing part of it, or like role in spatial computing, or like what are they doing in AI?
According to their last earnings call, basically they're developing the chips. They have AI models, and they have services to go along with it. They have fast networking, and they're looking at focusing on upgrading data centers to GPUs to facilitate further AI model training. They're offering services to third-party companies. So if you want to develop your own AI and you want to partner with NVIDIA to do it, it's a turnkey. You can go to them for processing. You can go to them for data centers. You can go to them for AI software and large language models, and develop your custom AI for your organization. And I mean, to me, AI, I think it's one of those things. It's like the electric motor that it once it disappears is when it has made it, right? Like you don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I need an electric motor. But you do wake up in the morning and you say, hey, I need to blend my smoothie in my blender, which has an electric motor in it. You do get up in the morning and say, hey, I got to do laundry, which has an electric motor in it. So I think AI is going to be one of those things that it's going to make it big once it disappears. Like once you don't think about the AI itself, but what the products are that AI can produce. And I think it seems that from that standpoint, AI, NVIDIA is like a one-stop shop where you can go to get the support you need to help you do that for your organization and figure out a way for AI to work within your organization.
No, I definitely think that's right. I think AI, the big thing AI needs right now is a Steve Jobs type of character who's going to make it really obvious why this stuff is really useful. Because plenty of people see the potential, but it's still mostly potential right now, and we're just kind of playing around with it, and we're really waiting for someone to package it for the masses. And ChatGPT isn't that, ChatGPT is great, and it actually did a good job of getting it to more people, but there's still plenty of people who don't even know what that is, don't care.
I personally like the advances in graphic design with AI because it's part of my field, and just the fact that photo editing and stuff like Adobe we're talking about, I think there's going to be some cool stuff with that where it's just going to you just make some commands and it does what you need to do instead of having to mess with it.
I've seen a lot of meme videos on that where you give Adobe an image and then it expands it. But actually, my question is, as a consumer, what Adobe product is that? Could I just go right now and download it, or is that a paid app? Do you know?
Isn't that the Firefly? It's in beta now, I think.
Yeah, they're. If you look at the Adobe site, their AI for the most part right now is in beta. And they seem to be kind of a latecomer to the whole AI graphics area, and I think they're playing catch up.
Definitely. I actually have a little bit of a insider info. It's not really insider info, but I captioned a Adobe this big Adobe conference where they're unleashing a whole lot of new tech, and none of it was AI. This was a few months ago. And it's AI is not on their radar, man. I'm sure it is now, but
no, I know it's not going to be reflected in their current earnings. I'm just talking more about because we were just saying how if ChatGPT is the people's only reference point. I'm just explaining that there's more uses for it that
and it's making it interesting too. For whatever it's worth, from a pop culture meme point of view, I don't know, dude. My TikToks, Reddit, Instagrams are like filled with like these like posts about people making funny images with Adobe. So I don't. I think it has some sort of like pop culture track that like ChatGPT has. I don't know. Like I hear people at work and stuff talk about ChatGPT for fun, and they're also now starting to mention, oh, hey, did you hear about that new Adobe thing that can make cool, funny images? So I don't know. I think it's getting traction among the regular people. I don't know, but that's worth it. I just think there's a pop culture.
I think NVIDIA market with the artwork and everything, because you think about it, they have the CUDA technology, which is basically the software for the graphics cards for the computer learning and the computer vision and all that. So they already have the databases of basically everything for computer vision to object identification. This is that. So potentially they have a larger library than ChatGPT has access to, and theirs is more trained, so they'll be able to generate more accurate artwork in the future if they leverage their CUDA with AI, and they'll just like go to the moon after that.
Is their AI proprietary, or are they like using some, I don't know, some other model that feeds into their Adobe?
They're proprietary. Their CUDA technology is proprietary for their chipsets, but not all of them. And a lot of the governments use it for tracking objects, identifying objects, and things like that. But it's a really good. It puts the hardware with the software, makes it seamless.
But you're saying they're using it to track UFOs, right? So this feeds into the UFO play.
True. Or fentanyl or something over the border.
So, anybody take a look at how Kroger did? I know they were posting earnings before. I'm just driving it to work, so can't pull it up. But just was wondering, because I know a lot of people in the forum and Discord were playing Kroger.
Well, based on their pre-market chart, they are up. Oh wait, where's that down? Looks like they might be down 4%.
Well, remember, as long as you hold the chart right, it's always going to be up.
Let me check their earnings. Kroger falls on sales miss.
Oof.
It says their non-GAAP EPS beats, but revenue missed. Oh, they missed revenue by 70 million.
Ouch.
That's a small number.
I've never been to a Kroger's in my life. Is that sort of like a regional one, not a national supermarket?
I'm in the Northeast and I've never seen one.
I'm pretty sure it's just like a supermarket, kind of close to
Publix
our Trader Joe's.
They have them in the Midwest and in the South. I'm in Georgia. They have them down here, and I know they have them up in Ohio, and probably places in between. I didn't pay their earnings.
I feel like the macro for something like Kroger is like really bad right now. Just these like very value stock kind of companies.
Well, if people are cutting back on higher priced food items like prime rib and filet mignon, then it's obviously going to hurt. It's going to hurt their sales.
I see a lot of the trucks down here in Florida.
Bought for 10 cents.
So that's where I might be ended up.
All right, I just pulled up into work, so I'm gonna mute myself, but I'll be listening in. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So there's this company I've been following and actually trading in over the past couple of years called Bloom Energy. Recently, their stock price dropped. Like they usually trade around the upper teens, low 20s. But recently, their stock dropped to like the mid to lower teens. So I bought a bunch of shares. And I sold way out of the money covered calls on them. And all those covered calls are up now over 100%. The lowest one is up 148%.
Nice.
For whoever bought those. Obviously, for me, they're down, but I mean, they're so far out of the money.
You sold them too? Okay.
I sold them, so whoever bought those, they're up 148%. I mean, I don't mind losing the shares because if they get called away, I sold. I mean, they're so far out of the money. I'm surprised that they're up as much as they are. But just wanted to point that out. If somebody's has any experience with Bloom Energy, the ticker symbol is Bravo Echo BE. And right now they're around 1685, and then like I said, usually they trade around upper teens, low 20s. They've been as high as 24, 25 recently. So it seems like there's some positive momentum on their stock right now.
Dino, what's your strike on your Adobe player?
362.50, I believe it was.
For 16th?
Yeah, for tomorrow. Yeah, it's Adobe put is 362.50, and it's down. It's down a little bit right now, but we'll see what happens when the earnings come out. I paid 17 cents a share for those.
Damn, there's a huge spread on that shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I paid 17 cents a share for those, and now they're down to 10 cents a share. I didn't buy that many. That was just a lottery ticket, because to me it seems like the exuberance for the calls is excessive. So I just went the other side.
I'm sort of like, I feel like that. I feel like it's run up a lot with everybody's AI before them. That they were getting pumped up from basically the beginning when the AI announcement started, and every time someone reported another AI announcement, they got pumped again. Just because they haven't reported yet. I mean, if everybody's using the Firefly or whatnot, I mean, I've used Adobe in my past. It's a pretty cool ass program. I don't really use it in my profession. I could if I started building some websites.
Yeah, I mean, I have a subscription to the Adobe Suite.
I used to have that, and I stopped using it.
I think their products are great, but I'm not sure where increased revenue is coming from, because I don't think they've raised the price too much recently, and they're pretty established. So I mean, they got a nice installed base. Oh crap! My 362.50 put is up 200% now. Am I reading this right?
On Adobe?
Yeah, my 362.50 put is now. Hang on, I just refreshed.
I was just in there.
It's up 200% now. It went from 10 cents to 77 cents. More than 200%.
362.50 right here.
Yeah, expiring tomorrow. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's one. Well, it says ask $1.49, and then bids 10 cents, bids 08 cents.
Well, in Schwab, they price it based on the median price, not the bid or the ask. They kind of price it in between when they show you the quote.
Okay.
So it's showing it at 77 cents now. But I'm sure the ask is more than that.
The ask is at 150 right now.
Oh,
Or
hell
146. 146 the ask is, and then the bid's at 0.10. The spread's stupid.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fucking love to play this shit in the money. I ain't playing that.
My Ford shares for the second time. Damn it. I sold covered calls on Ford expiring tomorrow, and this run-up that they've had in the past few days is going to get my shares called away, and it's like I had...
What's Ford at right now?
1440.
Nice.
Damn, 1420 rather. 1420, and I had 1350 covered calls on them, so and it's too far in the money for me to roll it. Kind of sad about that one. But I'll just get back into that one again. I'm sure their price is going to go down again.
I'm looking at Toyota right now, man. I like this. I think they're going to come in gangbusters, brother. I use their products. I just think this battery thing's a really big deal. That'll get people off the fence, man. The longer the charges last, that'll get people off the fence real fast. And they need to have some powerful batteries that can pull torque. But if they gear it up right, I just think they're a solid company. And I'm doing this. I'm looking at August 18th, 2023. Fuck, that's a big difference. They got a fucked up chart, dude. They got to ask on some of these, like the 190, 480, nothing. And if you're in the money, the 165, they want 930. And then 450 is the spread.
So I put half my Adobe puts to sell. I mean, it's more than double. It's 200%. So I'm going to sell half at 200%. Let the others ride. Pre-roll the rest.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this option chain for Toyota sucks.
I think if
everybody
you
piles
like,
in where the spreads are at.
If you like Toyota, I would sell cash secured puts on them and get some shares. If you think the stock's going to go up.
Yeah, see, that's the shit that I've never. How do you do that?
Well, you pick a price. Hang on a second. Let me pull up the option chain.
Okay. I'm on the October 20th.
Toyota. Which ticker are you looking at?
TM. Yeah.
TM. Okay. And you're at what date?
October 20th.
So it's trading at 166. So October.
Taking notes.
October 20th. So I would sell a covered call. Sell a covered call around 150. So
okay, so how do you do that?
Well, you have to have 15 grand for cash secured puts You're going to have
Okay.
the cash to buy the shares in your account. So you'd have to have
Okay.
15 grand in your account to do this. So then
Okay.
you'd sell the 150. You sell the 150 put for let's see, the bid is 220, the ask is 430, and the last sale was at 265. So basically, they're going to pay you between let's say you get it at 265. So you're going to sell it for 265. So you're going to get paid $265 to sell the cash secured put at 150. And then come October, either the strike price is going to be met, and then you're going to get shares. You're going to get 100 shares at 150.
And it'll be worth 265.
Plus you keep the $265 you got paid. So your effective cost for those shares would be $147.35. So you're getting 150 shares, but your average cost, because you got paid $265 to buy them, your average cost would be $147.35. And if the price doesn't go down to 150, then you get to keep the 265, and you try it again next. You do it again and try it again.
Okay, so you own the shares, but you can sell your right for somebody to buy them. Basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like you
I mean,
okay, and you collect the premium.
Yeah. Yep.
And own the share.
Yeah, you collect the premium, you own the shares, and you can if you choose to, you can also choose to sell the option or buy the option back at a lower price. If the price continues to go up, you can choose to buy the option back at a lower price, and you get to keep the difference.
Okay.
I
need to play with this.
Yeah,
I definitely want to. I've never done it.
But you have to have for cash secured puts. Obviously, you have to have the cash to cover the purchase of the shares in case you get assigned the shares. That's what I do with Tesla too. That's how I acquire Tesla shares. Is I sell the cash secured puts, and then if the price goes down to my price, then I get the shares at that price. If not, then I keep the premium. The reason that you want to do this is because that way, like if you do it at 150, for example, like you're going to have people that are going to own the shares at 166. Like there's people that are buying the shares today that are going to have the shares at 166. So you're going to have people above you with the shares, and you're going to be in a better position than they are if you do get assigned the shares.
Right. Okay.
So that way you're getting it at you're going to have people above you, because you're going to have people that have the shares at 166.18, and you're going to have them at 150 or 147.35 is your effective cost.
Right. You still get them cheaper than the others.
Yeah, but if I like the company, then because selling a put is the same as buying a call, because you're thinking the price is going to go up.
Yes. Okay. So why would you? But the only way you buy a call, you're not like never own the shares. The other way, you own the shares.
Well, either way you have the potential of owning the shares. Now, if you buy the call, let's say you buy a $190 call, and those get assigned, then you're going to own the shares at $190. Right. So and then like you don't want to be the top. You don't want to own the shares at the top price. You want to own the shares at a lower price. Like with Rocket Lab, the way that I got into Rocket Lab is I didn't actually buy the calls when the share price was at $2, because I have $2 calls on Rocket Lab. What I did was I bought the $2 call when the share price went to $3.50. So I bought deep in the money calls.
So you spent $2,000
on Rocket Lab. No, it was like I spent $150 to acquire the shares at $3.50. So it was like, I can't remember what the contract was at that time. Hang on a second. But basically, I bought a deep in the money call for $2. So I'm going to be getting tomorrow. I'm going to let those get assigned. I'm going to be getting the shares at $2, and I bought that call when the shares were at $3.50. So it was a deep in the money play, and I want the shares.
Right. So you end up getting a discount. Like you got the stock at what you wanted to get it at.
Yeah.
basically.
And
Okay.
then if the price, as long as the
That's what
price stays above,
jaded trades like that.
yeah, and as long as the
That's
share
what he,
price stays above 350, I'm coming out ahead.
right. Okay.
But yeah, that's the way you want to do it. You want to get paid to buy the shares.
Now, do keep in mind you're tying up a lot of money for a long period of
Your
time
capital.
by doing
Right.
this, right?
If I do something like that. Yep.
So you're tying up 15 grand for
1,000 until October.
right, for $250 return, but so that's the other way to look at it.
Yep. Yeah, that's the downside to it. Is this you have to calculate what the opportunity cost of that capital is for those 4
You're limited
months.
what you can do. It depends on your
Yeah.
capital.
Right, correct. Or whatever the next best use of that capital is.
Right.
But if you believe, like if it's company, like I do that with companies I believe in, or companies that I think have a good long-term opportunity, and like like I did that with Tesla. I'm doing it with Rocket Lab, and there's a couple of others that I do that with to sell the cash secured puts, because I don't mind owning the shares if I get assigned. And actually, that's ultimately my goal, is to get assigned the shares.
Plus, now that
And
you
when-
know this, you're one step closer to losing your house playing Theta Gang.
Well, you don't want to bet the farm on any of this stuff. So keep your risk. You have to accurately calculate your risks.
Yep.
Just sell naked calls. What could go wrong? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing at all. You're going to be rich.
Don't do that.
No, but really, though, cash secured puts are very good, provided that, especially if you think the company is short-term bearish but long-term bullish, so you think it's going to come down to your price and you're going to get assigned, and then long-term it'll be good. You might not want to do it if you think the company's still going to keep rocketing, because then you might sit there with a 3% gain, but the company's going up 8%, and you're kind of sitting there like, oh man,
right,
premium didn't cover it.
Yeah, I mean that's happening to me right now. For example, I sold let's see, Tesla, a different account. Hang on a second. So on Tesla, I sold a $225 cash secured put expiring tomorrow, and so that's going to pretty much expire worthless. Obviously, the price isn't going to hit $225 unless there's some kind of catastrophe between now and tomorrow. And so I can buy the put back now. I sold it for $84, and I can buy the put back right now for 6.5 cents. I bought it for 84 cents. I could buy it back at 6.5 cents, and I pocket the difference. So I get a 92% gain on out of that $84. I get to keep 92% of it. And because the price shot up so high, I could probably sell another put for next week at, let's say, $230 put, and just wash, rinse, and repeat. So you don't always get the share. Sometimes the price goes in the opposite direction, and all you get is to keep the premium. And you have to figure out if the premium that you get, the return on that capital versus the premium, if it's worth it. But I really want Tesla shares right now.
Also, keep in mind the premium will be taxed as short-term capital gains. Just another thing to consider.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, cash secured puts are good. Those are a nice little thing to add as long as you're fine owning the company at that price.
I don't do that speculatively just for the premium. I just do it on companies where I
you
do
want to
own
have
shares.
Right, I appreciate that, you guys.
Yeah, because if the price tanks, if Tesla were to tank right now and go down to 200, then I'd end up with 100 shares of Tesla at 225, and instant 8% decrease in value. So I only do it with companies that I really want to own the shares in.
Right.
Oh, and something else Genome didn't bring up, but just a note, you want to go about 90 days out on your Soul Strike because that will maximize your Theta decay gains as the contract moves.
Yeah, the Pac West
Theta will
shares that
fuck you up.
yeah, the Pac West shares that I got are the result of speculative selling of cash secured puts. So when Pac West was around $18, I sold an $11 cash secured put on Pac West, and the premiums were really juicy at the time. So I'm like, how's it going to go down $7 in 4 weeks or whatever? And sure enough, it went down to like $5. So when the price of Pac West was sitting around $5.50, I got assigned $11 strike, $11 per share strike stock on Pac West. So I was down over 50% immediately when I got assigned those shares. That kind of hurt, but fortunately now it's back up again.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Was
So
that your
that's what
biggest
happened.
like misdirection on one of them type of plays?
Well, that was when I decided I'm never doing cash secured puts on a speculative stock ever again.
Right.
I mean, fortunately, Pac West came back up, and with the premium that I got on selling the cash secured put, my average cost on the $11 shares is just below $10. So right now I'm down about 20% on those shares, as opposed to being down 50%. So I'm happy it came back up. And if Pac West doesn't go down, I don't mind holding the shares long term, because I think if they can survive the short term, I think in the long run they'll be all right.
Yeah, the banks, if they can get through whatever bullshit's going on, there's a lot of upsies for them just because of how they fell. I mean, they probably won't get back to the same price levels they were before this happened, but they'll probably recuperate 75% of it.
Right, and like with Pac West and and SoFi, what I'm hoping for is, so versus what happened this time around was that the interest rates were low, and then the interest rates started going up, and these banks had low yielding assets that they were stuck with. So on the opposite side of this interest rate stuff is the interest rates are being hiked. The terminal rate right now for the end of this year is expected to be around 5.6%. And then for next year, it's going to drop. So once the interest rates start dropping, these banks are going to be in a golden position because they're going to be holding loans and assets that were at a higher interest rate, when in fact the interest rates are dropping. They're going to have to pay out a lower interest rate. So they should be making bank on the other side of this mountain that they're climbing right now. So I'm hoping that that's what happens into 2024 and 2025, and then I think these stocks will be in a nice position.
Yeah, right. The banks haven't made money on their loans in a long time. At least not the crazy money they used to make. Fucking Peloton still advertising.
So now seems like a good time to shoehorn in the fact that I'm following a few of Hardy's plays. I'm looking at ARRY, EAT, and ATI, following his puts and stuff on that.
Can you repeat that real quick?
I'm following a couple of Hardy's plays on the Russell rebalancing stuff. So that's ATI, ARRY, and EAT.
Thank you.
At least those are cheap enough for my liking.
So, how are the memes doing? Is GameStop to the moon yet? Did the MOAS come? Or are we still Moasis and waiting?
Moasis and waiting. Still upvoting that stupid starfish. Anybody? Nobody? But it does.
I liked it. Sorry, I was just typing something.
Well, looking at it now, it does seem to be touching the bottom of its channel for the last month or so. Did Ryan Cohen buy the bottom again?
Hey, when you guys are looking at an options chain, for instance, I'm looking at this company called Figs, and they do like apparel for medical or whatnot. It's like the Lululemon for medical, but it's it's not really expensive stock. What do you guys look for on open interest? Where do you want it to be at? And then what's too high of IV for you to jump in on a contract? And then what do you consider like the volume? Like right now, the volume on this says there's nothing. And the open interest is 559, which isn't shit. You want it to be over like 1,000, right? Most people.
I want it to be enough that I feel like I can get someone to buy it, even if it works out. And for IV, I usually don't. There's no set IV number because it depends on the company. You want to know its historic IV, right? What's low IV for GameStop because it moves around so much might be incredibly high IV when you're looking at like God, what's a born like AT&T, for example, right? So IV's always got to be relative to the stock itself. I hope that helps with your question.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at AT&T right now. Just to look at their IV.
Or one I can do off the top of my head, which is going to be a company no one cares about, but Barrick Gold normally has like an IV in the 30s. If it's at 50% IV, most people would think 50% IV is low. I know for them that's almost like double where they're normally at, so something's going on, you know?
Okay, I see what you're saying. So there's usually like an average IV that most companies have, and you can see something's funky going on.
You should be able
But-
to look up the historical IV about on the year where it has sat, give or take. And you can use that to see if the IV is getting elevated or not. Because again, GameStop's going to jump around a lot more than a more blue chip, boring company.
Okay. So GameStop, what would their average be about?
I'd have to look into it. I don't know that off the top of my head.
It's at 107 right now.
I mean, just thinking about that stock, something in the 90s to 100s probably is where it normally sits, I would guess.
Okay. All right, I appreciate y'all. I got to get on the road. I'll be back on later. Late.
You guys were just talking about IV. How do you calculate that, or is that just something you look up when you're doing your deep dives?
No, that should be in the number. Well, I mean, depending on what app you use. So, I'll do Robinhood because most people use Robinhood, even if they don't want to admit it. Robinhood should tell you the IV when you click on the contract. It should be right there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And I'd be very surprised if most interfaces don't have something showing you the IV. Pretty much all the Greeks when you click the contract.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm still new, so I'm basically just trying to pick up what I can from you guys and read it and whatnot. But thank you for the info.
Of course, you're always free to take the incredibly scientific approach of just, fuck it, I'm buying the calls and let's see what happens. A very popular strategy here. When you do that, of course, you need to scream stock go up, and then it will work out.
The moon!
It's stock go up, ape to moon, and then, what was it? Ape together strong, alright.
No, sorry, we don't do any ungas or bungas here, I'm afraid.
Sorry, I forgot that was reserved for the meme stocks channel.
Now, let's have a riveting discussion about dividend stocks and long-term 401k investing.
Can we add some treasury bonds to that too? Make sure everybody goes to sleep.
Was half expecting the audience to shoot down like 40% on those words.
The end of that court case for AMC is the end of the month, right?
What court case?
What was that?
You said what court case? Do you have a court case coming up or something? AMC?
Yeah, the litigation about transforming the Ape shares back into AMC. Last I heard, there was a court case, and it was all going to be finalized by the end of this month.
Mm.
But I haven't heard anything new in the last little while.
Hey, Bitcoin, where was that picture from of the Cybertruck? Was that in California?
Yeah, it went through an In-N-Out drive-through in California yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that video too. Yeah, the camouflage one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
posted it earlier and tagged you in it. I asked if it was you out getting some food yesterday, Gino.
I wish, man. I'm in. Well, first of all, I would never live in California, but I wish I got my order in, but I'm like number 377,000 on the list, so I'm not expecting to get mine until next year.
But did they give you like an ETA, Gino?
Not yet. I haven't seen anything as far as they haven't even contacted me regarding put down the, like I have the deposit down, and then I'm waiting to get an email from them to arrange for the payment, but I haven't received that yet. I don't think I'm gonna get that until they actually start producing them. I mean, I'm not like I'm way down the list, unfortunately. So
If you change your mind, you can get your deposit back though, 100%, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if I would do. I'd rather buy the truck. If I don't want the truck, I'd rather buy it and sell it.
No, no, but the issue is like, let's say you change your mind after waiting 30 years, right?
2 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I think they're planning on doing a couple of 100,000 units a year out of the Austin facility.
But what does that mean for you for being number 300?
I'll be like towards the end of next year.
Jeez, okay.
But it is what it is. I mean, I'm okay with that.
I think it's well worth the wait. It's badass truck and definitely looks more unique than
Is it
Lightning.
considered a truck though, or should it be considered like an SUV?
It's a pickup. The bed in the back is open like a pickup truck.
Oh, okay. I can't see it from the picture.
Yeah. So it's like the
Really? It has a lot of room?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
do they all come with the motorized tonneau cover?
Good question. I'm not sure. I have like the one I ordered was the one that's got the 3 motors, and then they changed that. They changed that as well. I think I need to revisit that and see if I want to modify that to whatever the new options are. But once they ask me to finalize the payment or do the payment, I'm sure I'll have an opportunity to finalize the configuration of the truck.
You can't get anything that radical looking for that price. That thing's going to be so cool. Excellent choice.
Well, I like the bullet resistant body on it. Apparently, it's resistant to 9mm.
You might use it one day, man.
Yeah, the way things are going here, who knows? I mean, you need like an armored vehicle to get into a Walmart parking lot these days. What the fuck?
Crazy. That's a really good question. I know like people are writing off G-Wagons or what have you. That's an excellent question.
Hey, Tipper, when was your order date? Oh, I mean, did you receive it? Your order date was 3 years ago? Jeez. Is that somebody's dog or cat?
It's my dog. He wants my attention.
You pet that puppy.
Tipper, when you say not a beep, it means like not a beep from you, like or you haven't heard a beep from them. Tipper. Hey Gino, when did you put your order in?
Last year sometime, like when they first started taking orders for them.
Well, Tipper's saying he's put in orders since 2020, so it's 2023 today.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's been that long, yeah.
Dude, you might get your car back after the recession. In a couple of years. Once we find a bottom.
It's worth the wait.
I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on Coinbase. I just saw another, I don't know if it's a crypto exchange or crypto holdings platform, but I just saw CoinLoan just went bankrupt. And I know a lot of crypto exchanges have gone bankrupt. Do you guys think Coinbase has any legitimate risk of going bankrupt, or do you think they're in good hands? Or
well, Coinbase is the biggest U.S. exchange, right? I mean, practically it's the only exchange, because any other exchange would just be regulated out of existence. I mean, it's very tough with the new regulation that the SEC is trying to come on board. So it's not gonna go bankrupt. I just think currently it does have a monopoly for being a U.S. exchange. But what's your question? Is the stock price gonna go up or down? Is that your question? It's not going to be delisted. It's not going bankrupt.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was just wondering about like the being delisted. I don't know. There's a lot of fear in the crypto community right now, so I just got an email that this company went bankrupt. They were out of Estonia, but I feel like every month I see another crypto business go out of business. So. But it sounds like Coinbase is far from that.
I agree with Skull. Coinbase's biggest risk is regulatory. It is. And Leonidas, just because the stock price fell, I don't think it's gonna mean it's gonna be going bankrupt. Again, it's the only U.S. exchange for Bitcoin, the largest one. But at this point, it's at the mercy of the SEC. Well, you're right. They are going to need to register or go out, or I believe during the lawsuit right now with the SEC. Depends. But again, who knows how long that takes. But as of it stands right now, they gotta, like, you're right, they gotta register or they go out. Unless Coinbase can get like an injunction from the judge regarding that that new SEC regulation while it's being debated in court, then they don't have to register, and they just can continue doing business. while settling the matter in court of whether it needs registration or not, or any other regulation. Did you guys? I'm guessing you guys already talked about Jerome Powell.
What about Jake Powell?
Well, his whole press briefing or press conference.
From yesterday, I didn't really remember hearing too much about it.
Oh, I didn't listen to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of listened to it and zoned out during the boring parts.
For me, I already knew what was going to happen. He was going to just do whatever the market predicted. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Efficient market theory.
What was that? Efficient?
Efficient market theory.
Mm.
I'm a fan of it. Bullish on Intel. I've been talking about this for a while. I know. I've been telling people to wait, but I'm seeing some pretty bullish stuff coming out very recently. One is I just read that they won a multi-billion-dollar court case, or at least for now they've won. They are having a open forum on their foundries on July 21st, and I believe that's bullish because there is literally nothing that they can say that would be bad news about that, because they already suck so bad, right?
Nah, you'd be surprised how many companies can shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, I know that Gensler's been working hard to renovate and retrofit and buy more advanced dies and stuff for all of his and expand all of his foundries and stuff. I know he's been working really hard to do that, and I think that he's going to be announcing. What I think he's going to be announcing is he's going to be announcing that they have successfully been able to integrate the ability to make ARM chips, which is what your cell phone uses, which is that's the big show, that's the big cash cow. And so we've got that on 21st, and we've got this court case, and there's another thing coming up, but I here. ARM IPO being partnered with either Intel or AMD. They looks like they got shot down. AMD got shot down, and they're looking to possibly partner with Intel. It is a rumor at this point, but a lot of bullish stuff coming out. And of course, they are planning on talking about AI chips, AI, mama AI, and that's going to be bullish as well. So there's a play for y'all.
What about their graphics card? They're trying to get into the graphics card market, right, and compete with AMD and NVIDIA.
Yeah. It can only get better from here. Their first one was a little bit more of a prototype, which means and I mean because
it's a tough market they're trying to get into for the graphics card portion.
Well, I didn't like it because they were trying to actually compete head on with them.
Yeah.
instead of going with a more modest cost of performance card, like, dude, think about what do you really need in like an office setting if you're a business professional. You don't really need to have the latest and greatest graphics card. You can totally get by with, like, I don't know, maybe you're using AutoCAD or something. Those you know, you can have like a mid-level card at this level of technology that we're talking about, and Intel's price to performance beat NVIDIA and also beat AMD. So so they could have just stayed in their lane and sold these mid-level cards, but no, they had to go and compete and like try and basically beat like the 4000 series, the latest one, which is so stupid, dude. So stupid. Just not a good business decision. But whatever. I think they learned their lesson, and I think that their fabricating process for packaging and cutting costs on these things has come a long way, and I think they're going to make even more of a profit margin. And the other thing they had to work on was drivers, but I mean they can't be that hard. They've had over 7 months to figure that out, to get the drivers working. So I'm sure and I haven't checked in on it, but I'm sure they've done it. Anyways, yeah, it could only go up.
But they specialize in semiconductors, don't they? Mostly. Isn't that most of their income? Or processors?
Yeah. Yep.
So to bet on speculation here, to bet on Intel is pretty much you gotta know the semiconductor space is doing good, right? Because that pretty much affects their main source of revenue.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about that. I mean, it's pretty solid CPU stuff. I'm looking at their growth and them trying to get into the space of being able to beat TSMC with making the most advanced chips. It's kind of like Disney, you know? Like, everybody wants to talk about Disney, but you don't really need to talk about the cruises, and you don't really need to talk about the parks. They're like solid, man. That's like the solid part of the stock. What you really need to focus on is the speculation of Disney Plus and the content that they're creating. That's what's like left really to move the lines up and down. So with Intel, it's okay. What are they going to do with the AI space? How are they going to fill it? What are they going to do with their Arizona factory? And what are they going to do with the ASML lithography machine, top of the line that they're buying?
Hold on, boys. Hold on. What do you want? All right, boys, let's go. So, come on. All right, let's go this way. This way.